Hi, and welcome to Total Recall. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics and Fantastic Four Grand Design.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And today we're going to talk about Nope. It's been a couple months, but we got to check out Nope
in the theater.
Got to see it, like a nice exclusive screening of it.
It was awesome. It was a great time at the movies, man.
Yeah, and before we get too deep in, I just want to remind everybody, October is Jacktober. It's a month of celebrating Jack Kirby in the form of a series of drawing prompts that you can find on my Twitter at Tom Scioli or on Instagram at Tom_Scioli. And each day has a different drawing prompt, give you something to start with, some seed of an idea for you to draw something related to it. Use the Jacktober hashtag at me, so I can see them with it.
Dude, I look forward to this every year. I love seeing your artwork and all the artwork that you inspire out there. Like,
yeah, the artwork that Jack Kirby inspires. And
I wasn't gonna. I usually bust out my Jack Nicholson joke.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Jordan Peele's movies.
Yes.
When Get Out came out, I was gonna go see it, and then somebody was saying like, "Oh yeah, you got to check it out because it's not like a comedy or anything. It's a real horror movie. Like it's really scary. It's real horror." And that turned me off. I was like, "Well, I don't want that." Like I am not a fan of like slasher movie. They're like, "It's a serious horror movie." I'm not a fan of that. I just can't take a slasher movie or whatever. So I thought it was that. So I skipped it in the theater, and then when I watched it at home, when it finally came out at home, I watched it. I'm like, first of all, this movie's great. Second of all, that person who told me like that was the wrong thing to say, because I'm okay with that kind of horror. It's like because it's like a Twilight Zone episode. Yeah. It's like this kind of like sci-fi concept. It's kind of eerie. It's like scary. It's not a slasher. Like that's what I was picturing. Like like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something. I'm like, I can't take that. Yeah, that's your sweet spot.
I like Hostel and like the Saws. Okay. Like I don't like
seen those.
The real.
I'm surprised. I thought those would be right up your alley too.
Like if it gets into the too realistic.
Okay. Well, Hostel. I mean, like when I was a teenager, I stayed at youth hostels, so it's like that might be a little scary. But it's there aren't youth hostels in my future. Like I'm not going to stay at a youth hostel in Europe in my future. And yes, so that's interesting though. I would have thought those would be right up your alley.
I prefer like Friday the 13th and like Halloween.
Now, what's so different? Because what's the difference between Jason Voorhees and Jigsaw?
It just feels like some of the like I've seen I like the first Saw and even the second, but like I think there's like 20 Saws at this point. Just stuff when it's like if it gets into too realistic. Yeah. Like
well, I was at my sister's house. And in the next room, her kids and their friends, cousins, or whatever, like, it was a bunch of kids watching a Saw movie. And I didn't even want to see it. I didn't even want to see what was on the screen. But, like, just being in the other room and hearing it, I was getting so disturbed and grossed out by the sound. All these, like, bones breaking and blood spurting. And I'm thinking, like, how are these kids in here handling this movie that, like, their uncle can't even, like, listen to in the next room? And they're just, like, got eyes open watching it.
Like, Evil Dead, Dead Alive, like, when it's over the top and, like, if it... like
I like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And like... even like the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, but like the genre as a whole is very difficult for me, and I need a little bit of space. I need a little bit of distance from like the slasher movie genre to enjoy. So like, I didn't see Child's Play. I was so terrified of Child's Play when it first came out. I didn't see that movie till I was like 30, and I loved it. But even so, my heart was, and it's like super cheesy. It's super good, super fun.
Love it.
It was like one of the best experiences of my life watching a movie. I'm watching, but like my heart's going because like there's just something about that genre. Growing up in that VHS era, where you'd go to the video store and you'd see these horrible, grisly covers that of the VHS boxes that would just like scar your psyche and give you nightmares. I just couldn't go near that genre. So that was like so people told me, oh, that's like they were hyping up Get Out to such a degree that I thought that's what it was going to be. But no, it was perfectly in my sweet spot of like scary but not too scary and like kind of like a sci-fi angle and stuff. So loved that. And then Us was like his follow-up. And yeah, I didn't get around to seeing that one in the theater, but then I saw it at home and like loved it.
Oh yeah.
Loved the music. There's that song that's like the theme song in there that's like, one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. It's like and I found out that the woman who sings it is like Maya Rudolph's mom. You know?
Oh yeah.
But like it goes real high, then it goes real low. This song's just like all over. It's like a really great song, and it kind of made me realize, oh, that's where Maya Rudolph gets her like soul singer character that she plays
on SNL.
That's her. She's doing her mom. Like that's her mom.
She's so great, and like I was like Maya Rudolph was in this band I loved called The Rentals.
Okay.
And when I found out she was on SNL, I was like, whoa! This musician made good or broke big. Or,
yeah, I'm glad she's catching.
She's catching a break. What you were saying about like the slashers and stuff, like when I was little, I had to work I saw the Friday the 13th movies when I was in middle school, but I had been working my way up to it. Like I would ask people if they had seen it. I'm like, tell me about it. So I learned all about Jason before
I've never seen a Friday the 13th movie, but I kind of know the whole mythology of it. And like, you know, at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, they'd have, you know, one of the Jasons was like a regular.
Do a Friday the 13th episode.
Okay, but like I wouldn't be able to watch any of it. You know, and if you had it played on this, like I just would. You know what? I did see a moment from, it was maybe in a documentary or something. I saw like a moment from, I think it was Friday the 13th Part 3, but there's like a kid wearing some kind of weird mask, and he's playing Zaxxon.
That's in Part 4. That's Corey Feldman.
Okay, I had that Zaxxon. I had that. That was the computer I had, like the Radio Shack color computer too with Zaxxon. It was like the best game on there. I had so much fun playing that. So like, I got a warm feeling when I saw that little clip of somebody playing like one of my favorite games.
It's amazing. He was like this kid who's a special effects master. And I was like, oh my god, he has
like
all these
young
like
Tom Savini,
like a young Tom Savini, and Tom Savini did the makeup for that. Yeah. I can't wait. And Us, like once again another like Twilight Zone twist.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, this is what Jordan Peele does, because it's like, you know him from Key and Peele, and I mean of the two, I kind of knew Key more because like he was on Mad TV and stuff.
Oh, love Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, and that it's interesting that like they've sort of gone their separate ways, or you know, just sort of, you know, in the business, like, you know, like you know, they're no longer, you know, they don't have their show's not on anymore or whatever. But like it is kind of like that kind of like famous pairing. It is like a Stan Lee and a Jack Kirby or whatever, where you have like or Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, where it's like you have the front man who's like got so much charisma,
dynamic
frontman, and then you have like the kind of quiet guy in the background who's actually piecing together all this like, you know, this genius stuff that you're doing, you know. And not to downplay Keegan-Michael Key's skills. I mean, he's a really gifted performer, but it's like you get magic when you get, you know,
them together.
Them together, yeah.
And I gotta say his I can't remember if this is from Key and Peele or from Mad TV, but I always loved his gym teacher character. He had the blue shorts on, and it was like my elementary school gym teacher. And my dad played softball, and so he basically he knew my dad from like the softball like leagues that he played in when he was teaching gym.
Yeah.
And Keegan-Michael Key's like gym character was like. I was like, it gave me like a nostalgic look. I need to start wearing like the blue softball shorts with the knee-high like socks.
You know, like I'm getting a good idea of your dad, because it's like, because you were talking about him having the Tony Danza hair. So, and he's got the Keegan-Michael Key shorts.
He has curly hair.
Oh, okay, but you said like in the 80s he had like
some,
like Tony
before
Danza,
he had the
like a Tony Danza kind of thing.
Yeah, and like he also was trying to get, when we were at a Mark for Death of Steven Seagal, or no, it was Karate Kid Part 3.
Yeah, because
we had a video camera and we were like just checking it out, and it's like, oh, you can watch movies in the camera on the TV.
Yeah,
but Karate Kid Part 3 was in widescreen, and he was trying to get like
the black bars. Like I remember my parents. Yeah, we've talked about that. Of like that generation, it was just, they weren't ready for it. It was like you had to have the next generation. So like, our parents would get like so angry at those bars, like it was some kind of error. Like, your dad's like, okay, the setting's wrong. Yeah,
he was trying to figure the settings out.
It's almost like you're like Mystery Science Theater 3000. You're expecting to see like the heads of the people in front of you, sitting in front of you. But yeah, so when Nope came around, I was like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna sleep. Like Jordan Peele has like, you know, this proven track record. He's, you know, like this, you know, this, like, and I'm a fan, so I'm not gonna miss this one in the theater. So we went to see it, and yeah, like, you know, what a
knocked
great
it out
time.
of the park.
Great time at the movies, and like just kind of like building a mood and keeping that mood going, which is like it's really hard to like sustain that. Of the 3 movies that he did, this one was like the most slashery and horrific and kind of like, oh, what am I getting myself in? Because gruesome. Like the UFO story, like, and I went in cold. I didn't know a thing about it. I'm just like, okay, sight unseen, Jordan Peele, you know,
same here,
science fiction or mystery or suspense, whatever it is, I'm in. I'm on it. And so it ends up being a UFO movie. But then there's this like plot, this like sort of subplot we keep going back to, of like a chimp on a 90s TV show,
Gordy's Home,
this like sitcom where they have this
Fox chimp looking
Fox sitcom, but then like the chimp goes nuts, like something set, like balloons popping sets him off, and he just like kills a bunch of people. Those parts, I was like, you know, I was getting kind of sick. Like,
it was sick. And once again, I can't believe somebody beat me to the punch on the monkey killing like spree.
Right.
Because there was this fucking.
Is there an idea you had that was?
Well, it's just that like my brothers and I had like this running gag going where like I always felt like when a monkey kills you, it's such an over the top manner.
Right.
Like he peels your
face off, rips your dick off, eats it,
pulls your balls off, pulls your hands off. So we had always been saying like how we would be killed by a fucking ape and stuff. Or like we see a monkey, we're like, that thing's gonna sneak up behind you, and like give you like a back massage, and then pull your skin up over your face, or like reach a hand out, and be like, look. He's trying to make contact. Then grab your wrist and pull your hand off. Like, hey, that monkey's gonna pull your balls off or whatever.
When you're at the zoo.
When at the zoo.
Yes, so made for TV movie called The Ivory Ape. And it was like this like little like white monkey that, you know, like in the commercial it was like pounding on the door of your car. So I was like scared of him. And it was just funny because like, you know, you grow up and it's like there's Monchi-Chi and stuff like all this stuff of like these like cute little kind of things, and then you know, you get older and then you find out that like, oh yeah, when chimpanzees enter their teen years, they become so homicidal that they either kill them or they have this like refuge for them. And it's kind of like a teenager in general. Like they get kind of nasty, but they're like, you know, they're not.
There's no filter.
People. Yeah, there's no filter. And then they eventually outgrow that. But it's like, so it's like when you see a chimp in a movie or a TV show or something, it's a baby, like it's a little kid or a baby. It's not a teenager yet.
Don't hire that teenager for Gordy. So, but yeah, like that's we had been, because it's like the monkeys kill you in such a fucking over the top, ridiculous way.
And that's a big part of this movie. Like it's kind of the context of it's like the backstory or whatever. But then the meat of the movie is like it's, you know, this like ranch, and it's like a Hollywood ranch, like Spawn Ranch or something.
Yes.
Where you know, like he's like an animal trainer for movies, and it's mostly horses and stuff, but I guess it can be other stuff too. And so, you know, he has this understanding from his job that he can kind of anticipate the sort of things that would bother an animal, and there's things that you don't even realize that, and you see like the horse get like upset about some error that happens on the set, and it's like, so he understands it, and that becomes the movie in a lot of ways. It like reminded me of Signs, of M. Night Shyamalan's
Oh my
Signs.
God, I love Signs so much.
And it's like, you know, like his life kind of prepared him for this encounter with a UFO, with this sort of alien intelligence. His movies so far have been sort of these like Twilight Zone kind of things, and he does like the actual Twilight Zone. And that was like one of those science fiction pulp magazine tropes, was like, so he's drawing from the classics. There might even be like some old like pulp paintings from some of these where it's like got like an eye and an eyeball in the middle.
That's neat. And like
the whole mood of this movie and how they get you, how like the information's delivered to you and how you get through it. It was like very visceral, because there would be these long like silent periods where you're just kind of with him, and like I think like kind of the concept that was probably at the beginning of the making of this movie, and then became something else. But the concept, like just the name Nope and stuff, is this idea of like, okay, what if you have a like horror movie or whatever, where the protagonist has the same kind of thinking that the audience has, where it's like, don't do that, get out of it, don't do. And so like there were various periods where he's about to get into one of those stock situations where you get killed in a movie, and then he's just like,
Get the
nope.
fuck out of
He's
here.
like, nope. So that was kind of, and of course the movie's like so much more than that, but those moments were really cool.
Those were great moments, and like you had mentioned too. Yeah, it's a Western, so it was nice to see a dusty horror movie. A lot of dirt in this movie.
Yeah, think about the synthesis of genres, because it's like it's a like alien. It's like a sci-fi movie, a Western, a horror. One of those like Hollywood behind the scenes, like Hollywood making a movie about Hollywood kind of thing.
Oh, we love that, and you know what? And it nailed the Amblin touch.
Right, it did have like that a little bit of that Spielberg sense of wonder, which I think like
it's
M.
hard
Night
to
Shyamalan, M. Night Shyamalan was going for like that, like he stated.
J.J. Abrams and Super 8
Abrams,
tried it, but I think this fucking nailed it.
Yeah, and the fact that it keeps you off balance and that it isn't what you think it's gonna be.
Yeah,
and like there's there's this like we talked about it when we saw it. There's this great scene where he's like, there's something out there, and it was very much like Signs or whatever. He's like, somebody's fucking with, somebody's in here, and you feel like you're going to see an alien or something at some point, and then like a little gray alien.
Oh, I
steps
fucking
out,
popped
like,
so.
Whoa! And it's moving in this like really bizarre, and it's like
The look.
like and you're just
I got so
in there,
excited.
yeah. Like you feel like you're really seeing an alien or something, and it's like moving in this weird, and then there's another one that's like way close, like he's watching that one down, and then there's this one like up close. I'm
getting goosebumps. He does like the move that I fucking love, where like the whatever bad thing emerges from like hidden within the frame you're already looking at.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, I know it's gonna be here, and it fucking like makes the hair on my back of my neck stand. Daniel Kaluuya, like he played that character perfectly. Like he didn't have a ton of dialogue, but the way he was like...
Well, yeah, because he's playing like a cowboy, too. So it's like, yep, nope.
Yeah. Like, just one, like... And I was like, of course, he's playing so natural.
Yeah.
And then his sister
Palmer
was awesome.
Yeah, she was like a great counterpoint to him, too. And it we were talking about She-Hulk. It's kind of like that, where you have like your like very serious, cousin, and then, you're kind of funny and lighthearted cousin. And this is like brother and sister, where like
great dynamic.
He's very serious and very and she's super funny.
And his dad, played by the Total Recall show classic Keith David.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great scene, him in there. And then Michael Wincott, top dollar from The Crow, was the cinematographer.
Yeah, right.
Antlers Hold, I think.
Right. Yeah. Playing like a what director do you think he was patterned after?
I'm not sure. I loved. He had like that poncho look.
Yeah.
The cinematographer from this movie is Hoytoma or something. He's Christopher Nolan's guy.
Okay.
And he shot this, and
yeah,
it looks gorgeous.
Really great looking movie. Like, and yeah, just like everything felt so big.
Huge.
Like, yeah, you're just in the, and I think of Dunkirk, where and like Dunkirk, you just feel like you're really there, and you get like a sense of the geography.
Yes.
That you're, and this, you get that sense of like the geography of where it's at. I mean, the movie's been out a while and stuff, so I don't know how spoilery we want to get. So, if you don't want to hear any spoilers or whatever, stop here. But those little aliens creeping and crawling around, super scary, super awesome. And then you find out that it's just kids in costumes playing a joke or whatever, and which is kind of a good, like a fake out or whatever. But then you kind of find out that this spaceship that he's been seeing night after night, it's not full of like little gray guys and girls or whatever. It's like it's an animal in itself. And I gotta say, when that reveal happened, I was kind of disappointed, because I was like, I wanted to see what these aliens are like, and I wanted to, like what's that going to be, and why are they here and stuff. And then it's like sort of like an animal, and it becomes like Moby Dick or something. Like it's him versus Jaws, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, because like
him versus this this like animal of the destruction.
You've got the Roy, I guess Kiki Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya are like the Roy Scheider. Then you got the technology.
Yeah.
And then the Quint is the
Hooper. The Hooper is the guy who
Angel.
Yeah.
And Quint is the cinematographer.
Yeah.
He has to he's gonna die trying to capture this thing. And they even had the in Jaws, going back to like CGI, this didn't overly.
It didn't feel like CGI at all.
Yeah, it like they kept it to. They hit it a lot of the movie.
Well, because you start off and you get these kind of like lo-fi like video images of the ghost of the alien of like the spaceship, and like it's sort of shown from a distance.
Yeah,
and then like eventually like you're seeing it broad daylight close up, but it kind of gets you there. So and it moves in like a real interesting way. Like you get caught up in the spell of this movie, and
definitely, and like for it's an alien and it's a fucking like made up sci-fi movie, but like when it's like puffing up like kind of like a jellyfish looking thing, I'm like, hey, maybe aliens might actually look like this fucking weird thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like
naturalistic looking.
Every so often a movie like this comes around about like UFOs or aliens or whatever, and it does kind of like change the way people perceive this stuff. And I feel like this was like one of those kind of movies where there's like a new addition to like the language of like understanding these things, and like a new like spin that is kind of absorbed by like the collective consciousness or
you get all its attributes. Like it can't digest metal, so it spits that shit out.
Yeah, really
which
great.
Is fun.
Like I've only seen it the one time, so I'd love to see it again, because the way they kind of give you this information bit by bit of how it operates, and all these different ways of like they have those like people balloon or whatever things that wave like, and that's kind of informing some of it.
Yeah, because like I guess for some reason the alien has. I was wondering about that the first watch. On the second watch, I realized they had those out there, so whenever they dropped it cuts power out, so they could see where it was when those things
would stop dancing. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Like really, I was really blown away by and had just like one of those great times at the movies of like just forgetting yourself and just like getting into this world.
I love too like the like in Jaws, like they shoot the barrels on the shark to see where it's at.
Yeah.
This time they had like the pennants, like the flags hanging around, so you don't have to show the thing. You just showed like the thing like hanging off of it or whatever.
Really cool like system, that they kind of set up. Yeah, like the Jaws parallels are spot on. Just the tone of it and the way it was going. I was not expecting a happy ending either. I thought it was going to be like, he was going to sacrifice himself.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad.
And yeah, like it's like the last shot of the movie, and he shows up on his horse. The
cowboy's back, baby.
And you think of like, Once Upon a Time in the West. You think, not Once Upon a Time in the West. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you think of Django Unchained and stuff. And it's like, yeah, of course, a cowboy movie. Like you don't realize until it's over. It's like, oh yeah, it's a cowboy movie, and here's the cowboy on his horse.
I love it, and I love he had the Scorpion King hoodie on.
Yeah,
which is so funny.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of good references. I think Jordan Peele is like around my age or whatever. So I think that like maybe when he was first conceiving of this, he had a lot of like '80s references where it was like, maybe like a TGIF kind of TV show or whatever, and maybe the movie was like an 80s, but it's like, no, I mean, it's 2022, this movie's coming out now, so if we're gonna, go back in time and we can go back to the 90s, we can't go any further than the 90s, any further, like when we saw Captain Marvel, it's like 90s nostalgia is as far back as if you go too much further, you're gonna lose people,
Yeah, like you're right, Jordan Peele too, like his jokes hit so hard. Remember when he's talking about like Chris Kattan playing Gordy?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Like Mr. Peepers.
Mr. Peepers. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, because it is like there's these conversations that people have about things that happened in the past, and then you just kind of see it. So like, you could almost get like a Mandela effect from this movie or something, where maybe a couple years from now, I might think that they actually showed a clip of like Chris Kattan playing Gordy,
There was like,
but it's all just conversation. He's just referencing it, but you see it.
I thought there was a clip in the movie. I'm already having.
You're already ahead of the curve.
Like, there was apparently there was a Mr. Peepers screenplay. Somebody kept leaving all over town.
Oh really?
All over LA. We'll have to whenever. I can't believe it when we were in LA recently having those meetings.
It's been a while since we did a like first draft script reading, or like reading a script of a movie that never got made. It's been
Yeah.
a while since we've done one of those episodes, so we'll have to keep our eyes. If we see a Mr. Peeper script, maybe we'll,
if somebody can send one
send
our
us the
way.
Mr. Peeper script.
Or apparently the Bill Swirsky Superfan screenplay isn't out there anywhere.
Okay, you know what one I keep hearing about, because like I'll listen to the Dana Carvey and David Spade. Dana Carvey's always talking about the Hans and Franz movie that
Holy
never got
shit!
made.
I think Conan O'Brien had something to do with that.
Yeah, I think Conan and Robert Smigel wrote it, and like
God.
he'll be like describing these scenes, and it sounds like the funniest thing ever. And you know, and I think it was like, and Arnold was going to be a big part of it, and then I think like
damn it.
Last Action Hero came out and bombed,
Oh, no.
and so like Arnold was, or his management or whatever, was like, okay, you can't parody your own image. It just doesn't. People don't want that, and so it was. But like. If we could get our hands on that script, that would be a good,
love to read
good
that
episode.
thing.
A good episode. Read that one. Recently, there was like an interview with Spielberg and Jim Cameron, and Spielberg was talking about like the advice that he gave Jim Cameron when he was doing Aliens. He said, "Here's how you do it. In the first movie, the alien's evil and everybody's trying to kill it. In the second movie, he's a good guy. Like you know, just because that other alien was evil doesn't mean he's evil too. And so." It's like everybody's trying to kill this alien, but he just wants to be, you know, he wants to be loved or whatever. And like,
Wait.
And they were like, "It's a good thing you didn't take my advice on that one."
He's like that. He can still. Spielberg should still do that.
That's still doable, yeah.
That is still. Yeah, it's like E.T. action, a little more an actionier, a little
Yeah.
E.T. I loved it.
Yeah, really good. I liked it a lot too.
Great time at the movies.
I'm looking forward to Jordan Peele's next
one.
thing. I love that he's like sticking with this kind of, you know, because this is what I'm into. It's sort of sci-fi
too.
kind of stuff, and you know, this is, you know, pulpy kind of.
Can you believe we got a original concept, big studio?
That's true. Yeah, it's not like a
movie?
remake. It's not based on a
Previous
this. Or it's not
IP
based
or
on a
something?
video game or something. Yeah.
What
It's
a
not-
tr- what a
yeah, there
treat.
aren't too many people in that position. You know, there's not.
Shot on film looks
Yeah.
like a real fucking.
Yeah, maybe like the last thing shot on
Shot
film.
on film.
No, you're right. It was like, it just it had like this feel to it, and you know, like you mentioned Jaws and stuff. There's like a scene where blood just rains on the house,
Yes.
and it's like, you know, it's just such a great visual and like, you know, I can imagine like starting this movie, he kind of had some key moments in mind, and kind of like was trying to figure out like how they all go together and stuff. But that was like a great one too, and I could see that, you know, him building like a whole movie around that.
You know what's cool too? I think it's a Universal picture, so this could be part of like Universal Studios stuff, like a Nope
the
ride.
Nope, the ride. Well, it seemed like almost like they were, you know, that was like consciously being done, because there's that ranch, that sort of like
Looks like the Psycho House kind of.
yeah, the house, but there was also like the theme park ranch. It seems like if you go to Universal Studios, there's going to be a corner that's like that like sort of theme park ranch.
Well, you know what? After what's it called? Jupiter's Claim.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they were, they had the shots from in the little amphitheater, Jupiter's
Yeah.
Claim. They had this like these ices set up in the back, like
Right, yeah, and yeah, there was like an alien icy or something.
It was cactus.
Oh, cactus. That
And
was it. Yeah.
I went online and was trying to like. I was like, oh my god, anything cactus related.
Yeah,
like food.
There's
like,
got to be like but yeah, I'm sure Universal Studios, you'll go there and you can get like a cactus smoothie.
Here, my review is yep.
Right, I say yep to no. Yeah, you know, you hear about that era of like one-word reviews, and it's usually like a skew. I mean, this is a fake one, but like with Spinal Tap, where it's like shark sandwich. The review was shit sandwich. I think there might have been some, you know, Howard the Duck reviews that might have been like
God.
1 word or 2 words. Howard the fuck, or say, one-word review for Nope is
yep.
Yep, that's a good
and
one.
but like
Say yep to Nope.
say yep to Nope is a great.
I remember the bumper sticker, say nope to dope. But say yep to nope. That's a good one.
Like I'm like, this is my review. It's 1 word, but I get paid $1,000 per word.
Right, yeah.
I had this Star Wars.
You know, if the writer of a movie review got paid per word, they would not be doing one of those 1 or 2 word reviews.
I'm like, I'm gonna pad the shit out of this thing. There was
Yep. But just seriously though, this is a really good,
Like, in the Star Wars fan, I was in the Star Wars fan club.
Yeah, me too.
And
where you get the Bantha Tracks newsletter.
Bantha Tracks newsletter, and
my mom. I mean, so many great things she did for me as a kid. Of course, obviously. But signing me up for the Star Wars fan club, Bantha Tracks, all that stuff. You get the
Star Wars
pencils. You get the little patches.
Patch.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks, Mom.
I got a thank you, Mom, too. Send me up as well. But there was a Star Wars bumper sticker I still have. It said I'm a Star Wars fan. Honk if you. But there was an R2D2 at the end.
If you are too.
But I literally up until like 3 years ago,
you never got it.
thought the R2 was kind of a little further away. I didn't measure, but it's like I'm a Star Wars fan. Honk if you, and I always thought I'm like, what fucking idiot made this?
This is a misprint. Maybe it's a collector's item because it's misprinted.
Literally, I don't have two brain cells to rub together.
That's awesome. I mean, we have a little age difference. So like, when my mom signed me up for the club, it was like before Return of the Jedi. It was like pre-Return of the Jedi and by the end of my subscription, they were talking about Revenge of the Jedi. But when I came in, it was solidly post Empire Strikes Back. So the pencils they sent me all were Empire Strikes Back pencils.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, what era was
mine?
it?
Was pre-episode. Mine was like right when the special editions were getting going. So it was like the early, like mid-90s, but it was before they were the special editions.
Right, because it was a couple waves. There was the special edition wave of things before the episode 1. So we're gonna have to do an episode 1 episode at some point because I want to talk because I recently watched it with my projector and just like have a different take on the movie. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.